I went to Dan, my coach. I basically had like tears in my eyes that day.
Yeah.
And I came and I was like, I told him, I don't have money to pay you for this, but I'll show up every single day and I will prove to you that I want to be like a UFC fighter. I'm not just going through the motions like, and he was like, what do you think we're doing here? Like, I was working as a janitor, and then so I would do my whole run. I would work, get it all done, and then I would go pop in on wrestling, wrestle with them for an hour, and then I would go back to work.
So the guy that we are connected with, his name's Steve, but we're gonna interview the guy who's fighting for the belt tonight here in a little bit, because we want to talk to him about what's gonna be going down and what you guys are gonna be seeing tonight. So I just texted him. He's either gonna come down or we're gonna go up and do a interview and learn about like what it's like being a pro fighter who's in the UFC.
Basically, how I got into fighting was I wrestled my whole life, so I started wrestling.
I was like 6 years old, but I didn't stick with it. You know, I was into like other sports and stuff, and it was like playing football. So I kind of stopped for a while when I was between like right before high school. I stopped wrestling, and then when I got back in, you know, I was just like looking for things to do. So I picked it back up in high school, and then my dad always wanted me to play football. Yeah. So like freshman, sophomore, junior year, I was always like never would cut weight for wrestling, and then basically. I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No, do that. Sorry,
yeah,
say whatever.
But basically, me and my dad ended up having a falling out. Basically, he ended up like cheating on my mom, and then having another baby, and like didn't tell us about it for 2 years.
Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, like one day he just comes home. He's like, "You guys got a brother, and I'm moving out." Yeah. So I was like, and he was like my best friend at the time, you know. Mm-hmm. So like that sent me through like a weird path in my life. Like I needed him at that point, you know, and. Yeah, I started getting into trouble and just doing stupid shit, and then I ended up getting a scholarship for wrestling because my senior year I didn't play football. I stopped playing football, and I was like, because my dad wanted me to play football, and I never thought I could be a good wrestler, so I was like, fuck him, I'm just gonna quit football and I'm gonna put all my all into wrestling, and that's what I did, and I came up short. I didn't make it to, my goal was to just qualify for the state tournament. I didn't make it, but I ended up getting a scholarship to wrestle at the school in Wisconsin.
What was it called?
Wisconsin Platteville. Yeah. And I went out there for a semester, and it was just, my head wasn't like, everything that was going on back home was just like on my mind when I was there. Yeah. So I just wasn't doing good in class at all, you know. And I ended up getting kicked off the wrestling team and having to come back home. And then when I came back home, just the people who I was hanging out with, life started hitting me. I started getting arrested, like getting just stupid stuff. Basically, it's like I was just at the lowest point. Like I was working as a couple of odd jobs. So I was working as a janitor at a high school in the district that I went to. So that was like embarrassing for me. You know, I felt like a bum kind of. And then that's where I met Steve at. So like as I was working at that high school, basically. I would go in, I'd pop in the wrestling room because I love wrestling. So I would pop in the wrestling room and I'd see all the guys in there, you know, wrestling and stuff. And I wrestled for a youth program in the area called the Harvey Twisters. Okay. And they're actually one of the most like renowned wrestling clubs like in the country. They produce like more, I think it's like national champions or something like that than any other like youth wrestling program like in the country. TJ Williams is the all-time win leader at Iowa, and he's a Harvey Twister too. So that's like, yeah, it's a really notable wrestling program, and it's like in a really bad neighborhood, and it's yeah, they gave me like a lot of my skills. But when I went into the wrestling room that day at the high school, I seen one of my coaches was the high school coach there at the Thornton High School, and he was like, you can just come in, like if you're ever on break, you want to wrestle with the guys, like come in, wrestle them, we'd love to have you. So I was working there for a while. I was working as a janitor, and then so I would do my whole run. I would work, get it all done, and then I would go pop in on wrestling, wrestle with them for an hour, and then I would go back to work. Yeah, so I did that for a while, and then basically the company I was working for, the janitor company, didn't like that. So yeah, so they fired me, and then so I was like without a job for a while. Then I started working on a farm, on a horse farm, basically cleaning up horse shit. So every day, like, so this is how Steve knows me from being a freshman in high school, and then like every day I'd be coming to practice in like these literally shit covered like work clothes, and then just like taking them off and going wrestling with them, and then like I just seen how dedicated Steve was, and like I didn't think he had like the guidance like that, like kind of like similar to how I was, you know. So I just kind of like went out of my way to, you know, kind of try to mentor him a little bit. And as he grew up, I just literally seen him grow from high school to the man he is now. And yeah, I just started bringing him to the like MMA gym with me once I found it, you know. One day, basically, I got fired from the farm, and like I was just depressed. I was like, I got fired as being a janitor. I got fired as being cleaning up a fucking horse shit. Like I'm a lowlife as far as I was concerned at that point. So I just went all in. I started working out every day, like going crazy. Like I literally was like going crazy, like about my life. So my old wrestling coach in high school, his son owned a promotion called V3 Fights at the time. And I was just seeing on social media that he had these fights going on. So basically I messaged him like, hey, I've been training, I've been running every day, I've been working out, like, I'll fight, I'll come fight. And he was basically laughed me off, like, where do you even train at? I was like, I've been training myself, like, I don't, and then he was like, send me to my coach now, Dan, and he was like, I know a guy that'll look after you, I really trust him, like, go to him and get some training, and then I'll get you a fight. So I was like, all right. I went to Dan, my coach, basically I had like tears in my eyes that day. Yeah. And I came and I was like, I told him, I don't have money to pay you for this, but I'll show up every single day and I will prove to you that I want to be like a UFC fighter. I'm not just going through the motions. Like, and he was like, what do you think we're doing here? Like, and at the time, you know, it wasn't like, when I walked into the gym, it wasn't a gym full of fighters. It was just Dan, and it was it. Maybe like 2 other guys, you know? Mm-hmm. And then like, through me coming every day, at first for a while, it was me and my coach Dan sparring, and he's like 50 years old now, you know what I'm saying? So like, it was just weird. And then we just started picking up guys along the way. You know, Steve, he started popping in. I was like, I need more training partners. So then Steve, I started going, I would leave wherever I was at, go pick up Steve from school, bring him to G2, and then work out with them. And then just more guys started collecting, basically. Yeah. One of my best friends who passed away, Isaac Watkins, he was also on Steve's team. And he ended up being one of those kids too who was coming. He passed away at 19 years old, recently in a car accident, But he was going to be really special. He was was a professional before he passed, and he was like a great fighter,
Well, I was going to say it's a really...
it's a long story all over the place.
First of all, that's an insane background, but I was going to say from the time that you got fired from the farm, when was it like, did you start MMA training there, or were you already doing it and then it kind of like really spurred it once you got fired from the farm?
No, so when I was working on the farm, I was still just wrestling with Steve and them.
Okay.
And just like showing up to wrestling practice, and then when I got fired, I was like, I was
like an epiphany?
Yeah, it was like an epiphany. Yeah, it was just like, I have to do something with my life. And then I was stuck between, I love going to wrestling practice and wrestling with these, like, I just felt like I was supposed to do, I had more competing to do is what it was, I think. And so I started hitting up one of my buddies who knew how to box, and like he would come up late night to the wrestling room and then would hold mitts for me, and that's really just how it started. It's just like hitting mitts with some guy. He didn't even really know much, you know. He was like, I've seen some YouTube videos, dude. Like, I could show you what I know, you know. And then that was just really how the seed was planted. And then
that's insane. Yeah. So it started from going to the farm to sparring with this guy, and then did that transition to, you said V3 with Dan? Was that after you started sparring with that first guy?
Yeah, once I started sparring with the first, we never even sparred. He just would hold mitts. He was just holding mitts, and he just like was looking up combos on YouTube, and like I was just in my head, I'm gonna be in the best shape I can be, and that's what I'm gonna, like, that was what I was gonna go out there with, you know. Yeah. And then. Yeah, thank God that my old wrestling coach Rod, he didn't like send me off like, I'll get you a fight, come on, thinking that you're good, you know, like, yeah.
Unbelievable. So now from that time when you started sparring with Dan, how long have you been training? Like, how long have you been training total? And then
I'd say about 7 years now. It's been 7 years since I walked into those doors that day and like really started focusing on this. Yeah.
And you feel like that was kind of like the day that it, like, your life changed? Like, you would decide, like, this is 100%. Where I want to go.
Yeah, I made the choice. I said, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I'm not looking back on this.
Yeah. What's going on, Steve?
What's up?
So then, I was going to say, what's your goal out of doing all this?
My goal is the UFC. Yeah, I want to make it to the UFC.
Yeah.
That's always been my goal. Just like when I first started, I just feel like that's when I was watching TV and I would see like this shit going on, like it was always on the UFC. So that was just like probably part of my own ego. I want to be in the UFC. Yeah.
So then I guess this is me being a little bit naive, but I was wondering if you win this fight tonight, like how much closer does that? Because I know this is on the Fight Pass, but how much closer does that get you to the UFC?
I don't know. I feel like this fight has a big fight feel. Like I feel like if I win this fight, it'll take me somewhere, or at least put me in a good direction of accomplishing that goal.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome. I was gonna say too is like, forgive me for not knowing the levels, because like this is. Would you say that this is right before? Because you're on the pass.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is like right there to the UFC. You know, it's like Aljamain Sterling, Paul Felder. There's been a lot of like former CFFC champions who went on to be in the UFC. So. Yeah, this is definitely like the right spot to be for it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I was going to say too, do you want to talk a little bit more about the CFFC and the transition period from like when you were starting with your exhibition fights into the CFFC, and then after this guy up tonight getting into the UFC?
Yeah, just the difference between like the production and the professionalism with CFFC is a lot like better, you know, just the competition level. So, but I think the guys that are good enough to fight in the CFFC, the guys that are like winning, they're good enough to be in the UFC too. Yeah, like the guys at this level are just as good as some of the guys in the UFC. Maybe just a couple different tweaks, and they would be able to be there. You know.
Yeah. Do you think it's a lot of like an exposure thing too, like getting the right?
Yeah,
buzz?
for sure. Yeah, like the social media is really important, which is something I got to work on, because like I don't know nothing about that shit. I just post whatever I like, whatever I think's cool, you know. And then
we can help you out with that.
Yeah, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that's obviously a big part of it, and that's I'm trying to grow the social media stuff and just get there any way I can. You know, whatever steps I have to take to accomplish that goal is what I'm going to do.
So then, are you originated? Like, are you based in Wisconsin? You had said is where you grew up, or is it?
No, I'm from Chicago.
From Chicago area.
Yeah.
Okay.
The south suburbs of Chicago. Yeah.
So you want to talk about like what it was like growing up in Chicago?
Yeah, I had a regular childhood, you know, like I wouldn't say a bad childhood, but like just regular, you know. Yeah. But growing up in Chicago, it's like we were talking about it the other night. If someone in Chicago told you that they had a bunch of street fights, I would say you're probably lying. Why are you not shot yet? You know, like you'd probably be shot by now. But like out here, like just where we're walking around, if someone said they had a lot of street fights, I'd probably believe them. Just like smaller and like I don't know. This is weird, but yeah, Chicago's a rough area, especially like the area that me and Steve and these guys come from. You know.
Yeah.
But.
So then I was gonna say, off of that, what would you say is your fighting style? Like, are you a grappler? Are you a striker? Are you? What's your best?
I don't know. I think I do whatever it takes to win, but one thing that's always a constant in my fights is I'm always the one coming forward.
Yeah.
So I would say like a pressure. That'd be my style.
You're 8-1 right now, right?
6-1.
6-1. Okay. So that's pretty impressive as well. And this is all within the CFFC, right?
Not all of them. I have 2 fights outside of the CFFC.
Okay. And where's the coolest place you've gotten to fight so far? Your favorite arena?
Probably the Hard Rock in Atlantic City. Okay. It was really nice.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that was really nice. But besides that, I actually have a soft spot for the Horseshoe and Horseshoe Casino in Tunica, Mississippi.
Yeah.
That feels like home field advantage for me. Because I'm always away. Like on these fights, we're always like either on the East Coast or normally we're getting booed. But in Tunica, I feel like they kind of like us out there.
That's awesome.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah.
And is there one fighter in the UFC that you think you would compare yourself to, and why?
I don't know who I could draw the comparison to right now. I think only time will tell. Like as my career goes on and I start getting into more fights, then maybe I'd be able to make a better comparison. Yeah.
You're not going to be like anybody else. You're going to be the first belt.
Yeah, I'm going to be a one-on-one, yeah.
I love to hear that. Well, dude, I don't want to hold you up. I know you got to get locked in because this is a huge fucking fight tonight. So I really appreciate you talking to us. And
I appreciate you coming and taking the time to like do this and put the spotlight on me. Like this is great.
Yeah.
Really
and dude, we'll be there. We'll be filming. We'll be cheering you on.
Awesome,
so
man. How'd you and Steve meet?
So Steve's agent connected us a month or 2 ago now. Have we been chatting? Yeah. And I got in contact with him through my buddy who lives in Philly. Actually, he might pull up to the fight tonight as well. He is this like sports marketing type agency where he finds like it's athletes and influencers, and it's like an algorithm that puts it together and finds those people.
That's awesome.
And
man.
I got connected with Steve, and then from there it was kind of like.
Awesome, man.
It was just.
I'm excited to watch all. You got to send me your like YouTube.
I'll send you everything.
Send me everything.
Of course.
Yeah.
And any way we can help going forward too. Like we're here. Like
appreciate that, man.
Yeah, because actually like don't want to talk about this too much too, but this is how Steve and I got connected too. Like we make a wearable company. It's for like wearable recovery.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say really quick. I don't want to talk about this much, but what kind of recovery stuff do you do? Like when you post-fight, pre-fight, warming up, getting ready.
I do like what I can, like ice baths or like the compression boots and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever heard of muscle stim?
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, we took a stim device, got rid of the wires, and got rid of all of that process, and we put it into a piece of athletic tape. So this is what we do. So we take it. It's pretty much you take this pod, you connect it up to this, you put the tape on, you wear it normally,
and then it's just like stim.
Yep, just stim connected to your phone, so you can wear it.
Great. That is awesome.
Yeah, and that's how we got connected too. But I mean, I just love the UFC, and I'm excited for you guys.
That's actually a great idea because I've had some injuries, and like every time I go, they put me on stim, but like I don't have insurance, so every time I do it, it's like fucking
expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Well, that's what I was saying with you.
That's a great idea, though. That is really a good idea.
Thank you. So like that's what I do full time, and like obviously the YouTube videos and stuff too. But like that's why him and I got connected too. It's like I want to. So you guys are literally like the first like athletes that we've been like working on this with.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So we're connected with like a bunch of like there's one UFC fighter, Max Griffin.
Okay.
We're sending some of his stuff in December for his fight in Vegas, but like it's a lot of the pro sports teams and athletes and stuff. But like we can talk more about this later. I'm focused on you and tonight in the fight. That's what I'm focused on. So we don't want to hold you up again. Dude, we're excited.
It's good.
We don't have to do interview style. I just want to chop it up. Like this is cool. I was so excited. Is it Jesus? Is it Jesus?
Jesus, that's how Jesus.
He was like,
we call him Chewy.
What?
Nickname Chewy, call him Chewy.
Bet they call him Chewy. So like, yeah, dude. I was so excited. He was like, yeah, Steve's fighting. I was like, or not Steve's fighting. Like Steve's gonna be in Philly. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I remember when we first talked. I was like, my guy's fighting Philly all the time. So I might be out there.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, bro, I was like, I'm not missing this shit. So, because I was gonna say, this is like the first like, because like again, we're still early with this shit, right? Like we're just raising money, getting through it. I mean, you can see what this stuff looks like, whatever. But pretty much what it is. We just want it to be this recovery tool you guys can wear all the time.
Go anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get you. Yeah, I was gonna say I can throw it on you. The only thing is, since this is a medical device, we're going through the FDA. We gotta sign a waiver if that's all right.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Dude, that's so tough. All right, I'll catch you a bit. Yeah.